So you're thinking about moving to Crestwood and you're looking for the pros and cons of living in Crestwood. Well, you've come to the right place. In this video, we'll discuss the good, the bad, the ugly, and everything in between. I'll be covering some pros and some cons, and some that may be considered a pro and a con, depending on who you are and what your personal tastes are. First up on the list of pros is convenience and proximity to downtown Birmingham. If you plan to live in Crestwood and work in downtown Birmingham, or say UAB, Crestwood is very convenient. It's literally a straight shot down Crestwood Boulevard to the UAB area or down First Avenue North into downtown. Either way, you're looking at a 10-minute drive, and the best part, no big highways. Crestwood is literally an urban suburb giving you the feeling of space and peace and quiet while being only minutes door to door to get you to work. Now, if you fly a lot for work, Crestwood has you there as well. It's an easy 5-minute drive to the airport, again with no major highways, or it's even shorter depending on what part of the neighborhood you live in. And if you drive a lot for work, Crestwood is also really close to Interstate 20, I-59, I-459, 280, getting you where you need to be really quickly. Next up on the list of pros is the amazing set of businesses that we have in and surrounding Crestwood. We could spend a whole video, and probably will at some point, on all the amazing independent businesses in and around Crestwood. The shops at Crestwood, smack in the heart of the neighborhood, is the lifeblood of the neighborhood. From books and coffee, wine and beer, ice cream and pizza, health and fitness, antiques, gifts, and even live music, the shops truly give you most of what you need living in Crestwood. Surrounding the neighborhood, you'll also find great restaurants, entertainment, and boutique shopping in Forest Park, Avondale, and Woodlawn. The last pro, or I'll say the last pro I'll mention today, because the list of pros certainly goes on for Crestwood, is the sense of community in Crestwood. With its front porches, sidewalks, walking trails, and giant 12-acre park, Crestwood really lends itself to being a tight-knit community. Crestwood is a neighborhood where neighbors really know each other, and you'll see your neighbors out and about walking the sidewalks, or in the park at the playground, or up at the shops of Crestwood getting their morning coffee. If you're moving to Crestwood, know that you're moving to a neighborhood where neighbors really know one another and truly care about each other. Okay, now that you've heard the good news, here's the cons. Number one on the list, choo-choos. Especially in Crestwood North, there's almost nowhere in the neighborhood that you will not be able to hear the trains. There's two separate sets of railroad tracks. The first, running along Fifth Avenue, is actually a group of 3 railroad tracks. These are very active, and you'll hear trains running at all hours of the day and night. They blow their horns at the crossings, and it will rattle your teeth if you're on Fifth Avenue. In addition, at the 4 crossings on Fifth Avenue that lead from Crestwood into Woodlawn, there are barriers that come down and bells that ring as the trains approach and pass through the crossings. However, for those that live on Fifth Avenue, you would be amazed at what you can get used to, and a lot of the residents there view it as just a quaint part of living there. A second set of tracks runs along 6th Court in the middle of the neighborhood, actually behind the houses on 6th Court, and this is a single set of tracks. And while the trains run a couple of times a day, they are much less disruptive than the ones along Fifth Avenue. Keeping with the theme of noise, and also mostly affecting Crestwood North, is our second con, and that is the steel plant. CMC Steel is a steel recycling plant that often runs on a 24-hour schedule, and while not nearly as loud as the trains, it comes with its own interesting set of noises. Steel for recycling is brought in by train cars to the steel plant and dumped and moved around by heavy machinery, and then it's moved from outside the plant inside for recycling by more heavy machinery, and the process from start to finish brings all sorts of crashes, splashes, scraping, grinding, and even explosions. Not dangerous explosions, but explosions nonetheless, and they can be a little unnerving when you first hear them. Once again, you'd be amazed at what people get used to, and for most of the residents, except maybe those directly across from the plant, is just a quirky and funny part of living in Crestwood. In addition, there's a horn that goes off at the end of work shifts, which sounds a bit like a big horn for a big ship, and it's just kind of a strange sound more than disturbing. And the last of the cons, well, because there just aren't a whole lot of cons to talk about in regards to Crestwood, the last one is really a pro and a con, and that is the age of the houses in Crestwood. One of the number one reasons that people love to move to Crestwood is the style and architecture of the old houses here. The houses in Crestwood, both north and south, come with just tons of charm and character, and it's one of the major draws to the neighborhood. However, old houses come with old house problems, And without getting into tons of detail about what can go wrong with an old house, we'll just suffice to say that it's always very important to get a thorough home inspection on older homes if you're considering making a purchase and moving to Crestwood. I'm Brian Kelleher, a local real estate agent here in Crestwood in Birmingham, Alabama. I've lived and worked in Crestwood for over 25 years, and I specialize in helping people just like you relocate right here to Crestwood. If you're thinking about making a move to Crestwood or the surrounding area, I want to be your real estate agent. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to be the first to know everything there is to know about Crestwood.